Hello and welcome to Gardening with Ben. In today's video we're going to tell you what seeds to sow in March, as we're now in March. So let's start looking at what seeds can be sown this month, because it's starting to warm up, it's starting to get time to germinate all them seeds. So sit back, relax and enjoy today's video. First up, we're going to look at what vegetable seeds to sow this month, and this month is the last month that you can be sowing your aubergine seeds. If you're wanting to grow some aubergines, now is the time to be doing them, because they need to get growing and you've got to have plenty of time for them to fruit. So get germinating them aubergine seeds. Next up is beetroot. Now beetroot's good to grow in succession, which means sowing a few every few weeks so that you get a constant supply throughout summertime, and that's the best way to grow beetroot. Next up is broad beans. Now these can either be sown directly in the ground, or you can grow them in pots first to get them established and then plant them. Sometimes it's best to plant them in pots first because the mice will eat them, and you don't want them all getting eaten, so you want them to get established first and then plant them out. Next up is everybody's favourite, Brussels sprouts. Now Brussels sprouts take forever to grow. You won't be harvesting them until November, December time, but now is the time to be sowing the Brussels sprouts, ready for them Christmas meals and delicious sprouts to eat. Now they might taste nicer than the shop bought ones, so don't put them off until you've actually tried growing them. Next up is carrots. Now I've never had luck with growing carrots whatsoever, but this year I'm going to grow them in tubs because I've seen that they work better growing them in tubs, so that's my plan for this year. So if you're wanting to grow some carrots, get some sown and get growing them, and let me know if you're any good at growing carrots, because I certainly am not. Chilies. Now chilies again need a long growing time, so now is the time to be growing chilies. Obviously you need somewhere warm for them to grow and to germinate, because they take quite a lot of warmth to get them to germinate. I'll be growing some in my polytunnel this year, so we can get them sowed and get them growing. Next up is kale. Now there's plenty of versions of kale out there, lots of different varieties. There's purple kale, there's green kale, there's curly kale, lots of different kale, and you can grow it and just keep picking bits as and when you want it. So it's a great addition to an allotment, because you'll always be harvesting from the kale. Lettuce, again, it's good to grow it in succession because you don't want them all to be ready at the same time, because they soon do go to flower once they're ready. So sow a few every few weeks and then you can be harvesting them all the way through summer. Leeks. Leeks are good to grow. Again, you won't be harvesting them till the end of the year, but if you sow them now, you'll get a great crop later on in the year. Parsnips. Now these are best sown where you're going to grow them. They don't like being transplanted from cells into the ground. So if you're going to be growing them, put them in the ground where you're going to grow them, and cover them up maybe with some plastic or some membrane to keep the soil warm and to help them to germinate, because obviously we can still get frosts now. But if you're wanting to grow parsnips, sow them directly into the ground. Peas, again, like broad beans, these can be sown directly into the ground, or you can grow them in pots first to get them established. But watch out for the mice, because the mice will eat them, so protect them from the mice, and also protect them from pigeons and birds, because they'll eat the tops off them. Peppers. Now I'm going to be growing some peppers in my polytunnel this year. I'm going to try so many different things in my polytunnel. It's going to be unbelievable in there this year. I'm going to get such a good crop of different things growing, from tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, melons, you name it, I'm growing it this year. So if you're wanting to grow some peppers, get some growing now. Potatoes. I've just put my potatoes out for chitting. If you've not seen that video, check it out. and yeah, I like to chip them first. It encourages them to start growing faster, and you'll be harvesting them a lot quicker than you would do if you planted them straight in the ground. Radish, again, like some others, sow it in succession, keep the harvest growing throughout the summer. If you plant a few every week, then you'll be harvesting them as and when you actually need them. Spinach, everyone likes to be like Popeye. If you want to grow some mussels, get sowing some spinach this month. Spring onion, hence the word spring. Get some spring onion grown. They're good for filling in gaps and filling in borders. There's always plenty of room to sow some spring onion. So if you fancy some spring onion in your salad to add that extra kick, get growing some now, and you will be picking some in a few months. Swiss chard. Now Swiss chard is something that I've never tried, tasted, ever. I may try some this year. I might try growing some, but we'll see how we get on, see if we've got room. It's not top of my priority list, but if you want to grow some Swiss chard, get sowing them seeds now. Next up is tomatoes. Now a lot of people start their tomatoes in January. I tend to start mine now. They soon do catch up, and they will get growing if you get them started now. So I'm going to be starting mine at the end of the month, along with all my cucumbers and stuff like that. So if you want to grow some tomatoes, get sowing them now. And turnip. If you like turnips in your mashed potato, get sowing some turnips this month. So that is all the vegetable seeds which can be sown in March. So what fruit can you plant in March? Now, you're best off planting fruit trees in the winter, but if you do find any bargains where they're selling fruit trees off cheap, you've still got time to plant them. Just make sure you keep them well watered so that they take and they get growing. Rhubarb. Now is the time to be planting rhubarb crowns if you're wanting to grow some rhubarb, or why not try growing some from seed? It's so easy to grow rhubarb from seed. I've had great success from it. And remember, if you're growing rhubarb from a crown, don't pick it in the first year, let it settle in. However much you're tempted when the rhubarb grows on it, let it settle and don't pick it till next year. Last but not least is strawberries. I have 200 strawberry plants on my plot, and I only purchased like 6 or 8 to start off with, and I've got so many now. So if you're wanting to grow some strawberries, get some ordered and get them growing on your allotment or in the garden. You can never have enough strawberries, trust me. I'm telling the truth here. So what flowers can you sow in March? Now, flowers are something that I'm really concentrating on the plot this year. I'm learning so much about growing flowers. It's unbelievable. I've never really been into growing flowers, but now I'm getting used to it because it attracts the bees, and without the bees you won't get your pollination on your fruit and stuff like that. So the more you can attract the bees to your plot, the more produce you will get from it. So get growing flowers wherever you can on the allotment. So what flowers can you sow this month? This month you can sow asters. Asters are a beautiful flower and they'll keep flowering all the way through summer. Busy lizzies. If you're wanting to grow some busy lizzies, try some. They'll need a lot of heat to get them to germinate, so make sure they're somewhere warm. Dahlias. You can grow dahlias from seed, you don't have to grow them from tubers. If you're wanting to grow some dahlias from seed, get some sown now. They're pretty cheap, the seeds, and you can have some great success and some fantastic flowers. Geraniums. Now, a lot of people buy the geraniums, but I always grow mine from seed, and I have fantastic success, as you'll have seen from my videos where I've shared what my geraniums look like now. They're currently in the greenhouse. I dug them up last year, I've put them in the greenhouse, so then they will grow and I will plant them back out again this year, but we will start some more geranium seeds off this year. So if you're wanting to grow some geraniums, get them sown now because they do take a while to grow, and they will flower this year and you'll have great success. And let me know if you grow geraniums from seed. Lobelia. Now lobelia are very small seeds, very tiny, but if you're wanting to grow some lobelia, ideal for hanging baskets or for tubs and stuff like that, now is the time to be sowing them. Same for petunia. Petunias are fantastic for hanging baskets and for tubs, and they look absolutely stunning. And again, they're very small seeds, but if you're wanting to grow some, get some sown and get them growing. Salvia. Now salvia is very nice. and it can be expensive to buy from garden centres and stuff like that. But if you're wanting to grow some salvia from seed, get some sown this month for fantastic colours in your allotment, and some salvia will come back year after year, and once you've grown some, then you'll never get rid of it, hopefully. Sweet peas. Now is the time to be sowing your sweet peas. If you've not started them off, get them sown now. Sweet peas are cut and come again flowers. The more you cut them, the more they will flower, and you can give them to all your friends, all your family, and you'll never stop picking them all the way through summer right up to autumn, and the fragrance on them is absolutely divine. Now I've just sown 200 sweet pea seeds, and I can't wait for the blooms on the allotment this year. I'm gonna put so much effort into growing them sweet peas and getting the blooms what they'll provide and the colour that they'll provide on the allotment. I just can't wait to see 200 plants sown on my plot and what I'll get from it, and the bees will absolutely love them. So yeah, that is what you can sow in March. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Do click that subscribe button to stay up to date with all our videos. We post them quite regularly, not as regularly as I'd like to, but quite regularly, and hopefully we'll get lots more videos this year for you. If you've not listened to my Gardening with Ben podcast, make sure you search for that on any podcast platform, Spotify, Alexa, Apple Music. Just search for Gardening with Ben, and we've got over nearly 200 episodes on there for you to listen to. I post them regularly, mostly daily, and everybody absolutely loves them. And there's so many people subscribe to them, it's unbelievable. So check out Gardening with Ben podcasts. So until next time, remember, keep smiling, keep gardening, and keep listening to Gardening with Ben's podcasts.